It's a scroll saw project. Stick around and I'll show you what we're going to cut out. I was in a Facebook hangout last week with my friend Russ Clarity over at Simply Wooden Creations, and he had a pattern and he cut it out on the show of a toy helicopter. I don't know how well you can see it. And he challenged the people that were watching him to make this helicopter, and he provided the pattern on his website. Comes in 2 pages. You can just go to, if you want to build one, you can go to simplywoodencreations.com and download the pattern for free. Anyway, he challenged us to build this helicopter. What do you win by completing the challenge? Well, you win the excitement of building this helicopter. So stick around and I'm going to see how well I can do with it. Well, I had some select pine laying around the workshop, so I decided to use that to make my helicopter. I have the pattern secured to the wood. I have my whole entrance holes drilled, and I'm going to cut out the 3 pieces that make up the helicopter first. So let's get started and we'll get those cut out. There's the 2 sides cut out. Now we'll move on to the main part of the body. And there's the body cut out. Well, I've got the fuselage glued together, and I got a little sloppy with the glue, so it's not going to come out as nice as I'd hoped for. So I'm going to have a little cleanup and a little sanding to do after it dries. But for now, I'll set it aside, let it dry, and I'll work on the landing gear. Well, I just finished cutting my landing gear supports. They go right under the helicopter. And the way I cut those was I cut one out of a piece of leftover pine. Then I cut it in half. I ripped it in half. And then I sanded it smooth. And they came out quite nice. These are the landing skids for the helicopter. I just cut the ends off and cleaned those up, and now a little bit of sanding. It'll be ready to put the landing gear together. Well, off of the pattern, I marked where the landing gear supports meet the landing gear. And I have these all marked up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure they're square to the edge of this piece of plywood. And I'm going to put a clamp on it. And double check that my landing supports line up evenly. And they look like they do. So now I'll just put a little bit of glue on them, put them back in place. Then just to add just a tiny bit of weight to them till the glue dries, I'll just set the helicopter on top. Put a little bit of glue on each landing gear support. And we'll just let it sit there till the glue dries. Now it's on to cutting out the rotors. Well, it's come time to attach the rotors to the helicopter. I have the main rotor, and I have some washers that I'm going to shim it up with so that it doesn't hit the tail or the tail rotor. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on first. There we go. Now the tail rotor, all I did, there's a nail that holds the tail rotor on because it's so small. I didn't have a screw that small. So I just took a small nail and I started a hole in the tail, and then I took a clamp and just squeezed the nail in to hold the tail rotor on. And as you can see, they don't hit. There is the completed helicopter ready for Russ's show. Helicopter challenge. Well, thanks for sticking around to watch the build of the helicopter. It was a fun little build. If you'd like to make one, if you go over to Russ Clarity's website, which is simplywoodencreations.com, and go to patterns, he's got that pattern for free on his website. And it's a fun build, and it's more challenging than it looks, but it was a lot of fun. I sure appreciate your tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you would, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, or if you think somebody might enjoy building this, you could share this build with them so they can see what's involved. So I think for now, I'll say goodbye and get busy trying to clean up my workshop.